Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Giant Conversation of This Topic Talks. I'm your host, Aaron Klingsmith, and today we have a lot to talk about. We have a country legend that surprised a Texas police officer with a gift of a lifetime. We've also talked about a couple that got 400 mysterious Santa letters. Then we're going to move into Mark's Multiverse, where we talk about possible tech trends of 2017. We're also going to talk about GM. We're going to get a little bit into them. And we're going to talk about some Movie Madness Monday, some celebrities that have passed away in 2016. We're also going to talk about some thriller trailers that people have been coming out with, along with a list of movies set for 2017. Everything that, and more here on Topic Talks. Welcome to Topic Talks, where we talk about the topics you care about and leave out the ones you don't.
We talk about what most news sources don't: media, movies, and the multiverse.
We even invite guests to come talk topics with us.
Come join in on the fun.
Let's get started. Hello, everybody. Once again, I'm Aaron Klingsmith, and joining me finally again is Mark.
Hello, everybody. I hope you had a wonderful holiday season.
Well, how have you been, Mark?
Oh, well, I've been real busy getting ready for the new year, the holidays. Yesterday was my birthday, so...
well, happy birthday.
Thank you. I worked all day.
I worked on my birthday, too, so don't feel too bad.
Yep. So either way, though, it's been a pretty crazy holiday season, getting ready to, get back into the spin of things.
Are you winding down a little bit?
Little bit. I actually just got off food poisoning the other day. It was not fun.
Oh, I hate food poisoning.
Yes, but I'm much better now, and I'm in high spirits.
Well, one thing that I was kind of depressed during the holidays. I have so many parties to go to, and one of the problems is sometimes there are parties that I don't even want to go to. Like my girlfriend's family, her gift exchange is awesome because we're allowed to drink, we have fun, we just kind of all lay back and relax. But the one thing that I didn't like about it this year is what it is it's a gift exchange, and her whole family goes, and what it is it's her grandpa's family, so it switches between his siblings, all their different houses. And the cool part about it is, so it's always at a different location. We always got to make sure we're going to the right place. What was at her grandparents this year? Her grandparents have a very small house, so it was a little bit crowded. If you were claustrophobic, you were definitely finding a chair with some space because it was very crowded. But they put my girlfriend April, her cousin, in charge of the actual, because we do a greedy Christmas or white elephant, whatever you prefer to call it. That's the gift exchange we do. And they put him in charge of the game, because all the kids just get gifts. Everybody buys the kids gifts, and that's it.
Right.
But then the adults all just bring, one gift per each person that's playing the game. So, April and I brought 2 gifts because there's 2 of us, and her family brought, a whole bunch. Well, our gift was kind of the hit of the party. It was alcohol. And then...
well, isn't alcohol always the hit of the party?
Well, that party, yes. Well, the problem was they put him in charge of it, or her cousin, and her cousin did it weird this year. Because usually, they've done it to where, they count how many presents there are, they count how many people there are, and they just make numbers. And you draw a number out of whatever bowl they have.
Right.
And that's the number you go in. This time, there were 2 sets of numbers, okay?
Okay.
And what they would do is they had one set of numbers off in one bowl, and then they had another set of numbers off in the other bowl. And so they went around the room and everybody drew a number, and that's the number you were.
Okay. Well,
then the first person to kick it off, they had somebody just randomly draw a number. That person went first and picked a present. A lot of people, you guys know how Greedy Christmas or White Elephant goes. You pick a present. The first person will pick a present and open it up. Everybody gets to see what it is. Then the next person can either steal that present or open up a present for themselves. Right. And it goes like this. And then they have the rule to where it's only 3 steals. So on the 3rd time it's stolen, it's done for the game. It can't be stolen anymore.
Right.
And it's a lot of fun. Well, he did it weird this year with the numbering system. And then on top of that, nobody could read his handwriting.
Oh.
And so it was fun, but I was the 3rd person to go. And I couldn't read what number I had drawn. So I read it, and they're like, wait, that number already went. And I'm like, I don't know what number this is. And they're like, you're already drunk, and they're making fun of me. Well, later in the game, like the next number that's drawn, nobody knew what it was except for him. So I got all this crap for it, and then nobody else did, but it was because I was the first one to not be able to read the number.
Well, that sounds like a fun time.
And it was good. And like I said, but there's all these other Christmas parties. Like, we had a table down here. And granted, it makes it a lot easier when you have mostly, white elephant or, that kind of gift exchange, because then, you know what?
You don't have to get specific about it.
Well, you buy 2 presents. We bought one for me and one for April for like 3 different parties.
Right.
It was her gift exchange, my gift exchange, but I still got, some of my friends' presents. I got, just people that I get every year, I got presents and things like that. So we still had quite a bit, but not nearly as much as we could have.
Right.
Because I didn't have to buy for any of my sisters, and I've got, let's see, Andrea, Crystal, Edith, Terry. So I've got about 4 sisters. 1 brother, which I'd never buy for, and I got some brother-in-law. So those, right now, this year that was just 2 presents because we did a gift exchange.
Right.
That would have been like 5 to 10 presents that I would have had to buy.
Yeah, that would have been a lot.
But the hectic part about Christmas is when my family gets together, and my family hasn't been together for 7 years. This is the first time they've been together. It just gets crazy.
Oh my God, I can imagine it. I mean, the bigger the family, it's more fun too having a lot of family members, but at the same time, it's a little more hectic.
It's a lot more hectic.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was the party was supposed to be here, and they had it at one of my brother-in-law's mother's house, and I was kind of excited that it was going to be here. Then we were supposed to do New Year's here, and they blew me off for this. So I've had kind of a crappy, just because I've had all these parties I had to go to, really didn't want to go.
You see, for me, Christmas Day was a little all over the place because first, we started off at my girlfriend's house, right?
Yeah, right.
And we had 3 parties to go through that day. One was her family's, which, by the way, we've been dating for almost 4 years now, and I've only met maybe 1 family member outside their household in those 4 years.
Right.
So it was about time. So we went to her family or whatever. I met, her grandparents, all of her uncles and aunts and cousins and all that. And, they made homemade cream puffs, which were delicious, by the way. And
cream puffs are good.
Cream puffs are very good. And so, first there was that. But we ended up running like a half hour late leaving. And then traffic was bad. So literally, and we had a tight schedule to keep because we had 3 parties to get to that day. So we were a little bit late for that. So we didn't get to stay as long, but it was still nice getting to meet her family and all that. They had Elf playing in the background, and some of us were watching Elf. And
meaning you were watching Elf?
No, some of the kids were watching Elf too.
And then you joined along?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's Elf. It's like Elf and Grinch. Elf and the Grinch are like the 2 best Christmas movies ever made, in my opinion. In my opinion.
I would strongly disagree.
Yeah.
You would have to go to A Year Without Santa Claus and Santa Claus is Coming to Town and Rudolph the Red-Nosed. Those are all my favorite.
You like the claymation ones, huh?
Oh yeah.
You see those they're not really.
Those are
the
my
Santa
favorite.
Claus movies are really good too.
Those are really good.
But
yes,
the first one was the best one, and they got a little not as good with each one they made, I feel.
Yeah.
But either way, anyways,
1 and 2 were really good. 3 was kind of eh.
But either way, so moving on though, it's like, we stay at her party for a little while, and then we go to my aunt's house, which by the time we got there, everyone was there, so we got to say hi to everyone and hang out and talk and converse and all that stuff. But by the time we got there, it was already too late. We couldn't eat any of the food because all the food was eaten. So basically,
hey, you snooze, you lose.
Yeah. So either way, I still got to eat some food and all that, but I didn't get to feast like I wanted to on Christmas because usually my family has a ton of food, but I have a big family, so it goes.
Well, here's what happened to me. So Christmas Eve, I worked until about like 5:30ish. Okay.
Christmas Eve?
Yes.
You see, I worked all the way up until. Oh, you know what? Oh, Christmas Eve we actually closed early. I was out by around 9 or 10.
Okay, so I worked until about like 5:30ish, somewhere around there. That's a very general estimate because I don't remember exactly what time. I know it was fairly early. Anyway, so Christmas Eve, I worked, got out of work, raced home, literally just changed out of my work shirt because I wear a blue jean. I just wear blue jean. Basically, what I usually wear, I just have a Bass Pro shirt on. That's really the only difference, and I'm not wearing my hat.
Right.
So I threw on my hat, rushed home. Took off my Bass Pro shirt, put on just another dress shirt, still wearing blue jeans, and changed into my cowboy boots.
There you go, simple as that.
Hopped in the car. Well, actually, I had to wait for my girlfriend to get home. I got all the dogs ready because we weren't going to be home until Christmas Day. We were leaving and we weren't going to be back.
So you kind of
we had to pack everything up, and we were running late, and we needed to be at April's parents' house, or at April's grandparents by like 8 the latest.
Right.
And we told her parents that we needed to, or like they needed to stall a little bit because we wanted to play the game.
Right.
So we were planning on being there. We got there at about 8:30, so they pushed it off a little bit for us.
Oh, that's nice.
So we got there at 8:30, and then we found out that all the dogs, like there were no dogs allowed in the house. Well, we have 2 Yorkies.
Right.
They don't weigh very much. They can't be outside in a garage, even if there is a heater running.
Right.
So we got there. All the dogs went to the garage. We brought a cage for Charlie because he would tear up everything in the garage because he's
a horse.
He's a puppy.
He's a puppy and he's a horse.
Well, there were dogs that it was about his size there, but the other ones are kind of calm and old.
Mm-hmm.
He's very young and so he was fine.
He's like a bouncy ball.
Well, he was fine in there because he had heat and stuff, but the Yorkies don't have any meat on them at all.
Right.
Well, April's mom was like, "You're going to bring those Yorkies inside." Well, because this is her mom's side of the family the party that we're at.
Mm-hmm.
So then it was so anyway, so her mom's like, "Bring them back in." Well, April's aunt from her dad's side had dropped in for a few minutes with her triplets. She has 2 girls and 1 boy. They're all they're triplets.
Mm-hmm.
And so they took the Yorkies home for us because we were going over to their house.
Right.
And what was originally supposed to happen is her parents were supposed to stay at her grandparents, and we were supposed to stay at her aunt's. Well, her parents didn't want to stay at her grandparents, so they stayed at her aunt's again.
Right.
So, and then I guess one of the girls was going to give up their bed, and we were supposed to stay there, according to what I heard.
So basically, just a whole bunch of plans changing right at the last minute.
Pretty much. So we got to the party.
That's always fun.
We had a great time. Pretty much, her family ended up with almost everything that we brought. Like, we might as well have just exchanged gifts with ourselves. That's how it ended up.
Oh.
And April and I walked away with actually a pretty cool. It's a weather thing. You hang it on the wall, and it'll tell you the humidity inside and the temperature.
Now, it was one of the things you guys bought, wasn't it?
It was one thing our parents brought. But we were looking at it like we were going to buy it when we were shopping.
Right.
But we decided not to.
And then you got it anyways.
But we brought alcohol, and her dad ended up with it. Her brother brought alcohol, and her brother ended up with that. There was a lighthouse that her grandfather had built. This thing's huge.
Really?
And her sister actually ended up with that. Her sister-in-law. Anyway, so we got done with the party. We packed Charlie and his kennel and everything back up. And because we got there so late, I didn't know where the food was at. So I didn't get to eat. And I'm like, okay, is there anything open? And there's nothing open, it's Christmas.
Yeah, it's Christmas.
It's Christmas. Nothing open. So I didn't eat really at all. Except for maybe lunch at work. And so then we went to her aunt's house.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't get me to bed. Like, Charlie wouldn't let me go to bed until about midnight, maybe 1 o'clock in the morning. And we were out of there like 9 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
We were out of the party. So we didn't get to bed until like midnight. We had to be up at 6, or had to be up at like 6 or 7, so we could be over at my sister's house because I wanted to see, because my sister was here from North Carolina, and she was staying at my other sister's house. So
right.
All my nieces and nephews were in one house. And I told them I was coming, and they really didn't seem like they wanted me there, but I wanted to be there anyway. So we had to be up really early. So literally, we only got a couple hours of sleep. We got up, we rushed over there. We made it there. They had breakfast. I didn't want to eat anything there because they didn't know we were coming until literally like
last minute,
day of, because I forgot to tell them.
Right.
So, or it was the day before. So I'm like, I'm fine. We left, went to my grandma's house, sat and ate with her for a little bit, and I'm trying to remember. I think we went over, and then we went over to April's brother's house.
Man, you had a lot of parties to go to.
Well, and we were gonna go over to her sister-in-law's parents' house for dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And I told April, I said, you know what? I just we can go and do the gift exchange with your parents and your brother and all them, but I just don't want to do dinner. I don't want to do any. I want to go home and I want to sit down and just be done with it.
That's kind of how we were at one point too.
Well, and so she's like, okay, we'll do that. So we went over to her brother's. Her parents got us a lot of stuff. I mean, we got brand new linens towels, washcloths, everything. They're like a huge box of them. I mean, April got all this stuff for the house. I got a whole bunch of stuff. Like I got a tool bag, crescent wrenches,
stuff
like socket wrenches. I got a small shop vac that I love. Like I got a whole bunch of guy stuff. They brought us like 2 totes full of presents.
Dang, man, that's
and
crazy.
I was expecting usually they have like 1 or 2 for me, and they've got a bunch for April, and I'm fine with that.
Mm-hmm.
But this year they had a million things for me, a million things for April. They brought us what are they called? Fire extinguishers. They brought us a dual pack of fire extinguishers. One that's made for the kitchen for like grease fires and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, but it was all this stuff for the house, and it was great because it was all stuff that we needed. I mean, we didn't really have any nice towels.
You just didn't expect it all.
No, we didn't really have any nice towels. So we got a lot of those.
Still, it's good. Now you have a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, now we've got a lot of stuff. We're still going through it. I mean, the towels, we've used a couple of them,
mm-hmm.
but they're still sitting in a box in the living room.
I still just ordered a lot of my Christmas stuff too. For Christmas, I got this Millennium Falcon drone, and it's an extra large one.
So you did get it for Christmas?
I did, and let me tell you, man.
Wait, you got the Millennium Falcon one? You didn't get the?
I got the Millennium Falcon one from Star Wars, not the Enterprise from Star Trek. No.
Okay, how does the Millennium Falcon fly?
Well,
because the guys at the show that I work for cannot seem to fly the Star Trek one.
Okay, let me tell you one thing. First of all, for a first-time drone user, you have to expect it's going to be a little awkward.
Well, yeah.
Second of all, you also have to expect this thing is huge. I'm telling you, this thing is probably like... Oh, man.
So this means you're gonna...
It's like huge. It's like 2 feet.
This means you're going to bring it next week. So
if you want, I could bring it next week. Except the thing is, though, this thing is very difficult to fly because it's so big and awkward and heavy.
Okay.
Well, for a drone at least.
Right.
So it's really, really difficult to control. I haven't even gotten it down yet. But then again, I've only taken
We'll take it over to my grandma's. If it hasn't snowed again by then, we'll take it over to my grandma's. She's got a huge backyard. We'll be able to fly it.
It is difficult to fly, though. I haven't gotten the hang of it. But at the same time, I've only taken it for 1 flight.
Right.
So I still have some learning to do with it, but it's cool. I like it, and I also got Final Fantasy 15, which is a pretty cool game so far. I haven't had a chance to play much though because I've been so busy with work and holiday stuff.
I also got a new scarf.
Nice.
It was crocheted by my brother-in-law.
Nice.
And I got a Sensi.
What's that?
A Sensi. It's like a wax burner, but there's no actual flame. It's usually either like a heating.
Mm-hmm.
It's either got like a heater.
Right.
Or it's got like a light bulb.
Right.
Because we got some from my sister. My sister sells Sensis. And there's 2 different kinds. There's ones that have little light bulbs. You put them in, and then there's a tray on top. And then they've got this. It's like a wax, but it's not. Like if you stick your finger in wax, it hurts because it's hot.
Right.
This stuff, you stick your finger in it, and you can play in it and whatnot, and it doesn't hurt. It's not really hot, but it's melting, and it makes like the room smell better.
That's cool.
Well, that's the kind that we have with the light bulb. We got, because it was part of the gift exchange, we got one because it was wrapped up in the scarf.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a heating pad. So it's got like a fancy design on the outside, and it just kind of comes up. And then there's the second piece that sits on top. So there's the heating pad on the bottom, like a heating little circle. And then you set the other one on top, and then you put that little wax stuff in.
You know what? Jenna had one of those at one point. Yeah, it's like a heater, and then you got like the oil. It's like an essence.
It's what it is it's actually just like a cube of what looks like wax. Like it's got the consistency of wax, and it feels like wax, but it's not hot.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have kids, this is something that's great because your kid can dip his finger into it and he won't burn himself.
You see, Jenna's was a little less kid friendly. You see,
I was gonna say this one you can dump onto the carpet, and like how wax is really messy. This isn't. You can like vacuum it up.
You see, hers was like an oil essence, and then like it was heated by a candle, so quite less child friendly.
This one's very child friendly. Anyway, so we got one of those. I can't even remember what April got. I think April got. She got some coloring books and some mugs.
Right. I also got I got this cool shirt. We went to my sister's for the last party, and we made homemade Long Islands. My sister Melissa and Joe. I got a friend from Australia listening in tonight. His name's Glenn. He used to work with them at the hydroponic shop.
Right.
So Glenn, if you're listening, hey, how's it going? We made homemade Long Island iced teas at Melissa's house, which were strong. And we played this game called Exploding Kittens.
I've heard of Exploding Kittens.
It is very good. The box is labeled ages 30 and up. And let me tell you,
it's kind of like the zombie game. There's this game my brother-in-law has. It's Zombie Dice.
Yeah.
And you roll the dice, and if you get like brains, you get to keep them, and it's basically you're trying to get the most brains.
Oh, that's cool.
And so like you always have to roll 3.
Yeah.
But if you get shotgun blasts,
you lose
those dice are done. If you get 3 shotgun blasts, you lose all your brains, and you get no. You basically like the brains are like points.
Right.
Well, so that's the game. Well, you like there's a drinking version like way to play that.
Well, there's a drinking version of everything.
And there's an expansion pack. We don't know too much about the expansion pack, but the zombie dice itself is really fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but either way, though, it was great, though. I got a cool shirt. I meant to wear it today, but I didn't. I was telling April about it. It's a shirt, and it's got, like, hovering cat heads, right?
Nice.
And they're wearing, like, different colored, like, neon, like, hipster glasses.
Okay.
And they're shooting laser beams from their eyes. It's one of those shirts. It's amazing, to say the least.
Mark.
No, really, it is amazing. But anyway, and then I also went to some holiday parties, too. I went to one for Empower Radio, and it was cool. It was one of the people who was hosting the party, she was like a psychic, like a table tipper.
Right.
And it was really cool. She even, took us under her wing or whatever, and, did the table tipping thing, and it was really cool. I got to see that like my grandpa Wilson was still with us.
Right.
And it was really, really cool. It was a spiritual experience. And then we went downstairs and played charades, which is always fun.
Nice.
And let me tell you, trying to play charades for when your word or whatever is Bohemian Rhapsody, it's like good luck doing that.
Right.
But either way, though, it was really fun. That was more the highlights of my parties. There was one with Empower Radio, or not Empower, TV Warren too. We did a holiday party, and we did the Greedy Christmas or White Elephant, and I ended up with a $10 gift card for Firehouse Subs.
Nice.
Yeah, I like Subway better, but it's okay.
You know what else is really cool?
What?
There is this. There was a country legend that surprised a Texas police officer with a gift of a lifetime. This is one that's kind of close to my heart because I love country music.
Yep.
I love, actually, this particular artist. He's kind of fallen on, he's had some difficulties recently that have allowed him not to be able to sing. For those of you that are familiar with country music, you know that I'm talking about Randy Travis. Randy Travis has had a stroke that has made it so he's not able to really, he hasn't been doing much. He hasn't been very active. He hasn't been able to. And actually, it was very heartwarming because for the CMAs this past year, they did this huge kind of country music thing where they did a mashup of let's see, it was Take Me Home Country Roads, On the Road Again, and I Will Always Love You, because that was John Denver did Take Me Home Country Roads.
Mm-hmm.
Willie Nelson did On the Road Again.
On the Road Again.
And then Dolly Parton did the I Will Always Love You. She was actually the first one to do it.
Really?
Before Whitney Houston.
How many versions are there of that song?
2.
2?
Whitney Houston's is the most famous, but Dolly Parton sang it first, and she wrote it.
Ah, okay.
So they did a mashup of all 3, and it had the video had over 30 country artists along with the actual song. It's an amazing video. And one cool part about it is, like, so they had this giant thing that was going on. So they published a video and they published a song, and the money that was made from buying the song went to a charity. Well, they also came up with Randy Travis ended up singing when he got inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
He sang a note, but also the opening of the CMA Awards, they went through and sang a whole bunch of a mashup of a whole bunch of different country songs, and they ended with Randy Travis singing the main line of one of his songs that they were mashing in.
Really?
Which was really cool.
That actually sounds really cool. I'm not a country fan, but sounds it would be pretty cool.
And so he's getting a lot better. At least that's according to his wife. But he may have suffered from a stroke and maybe getting a little bit better. But he was able to help out a Texas police officer, and this is what I love. So what it is this Texas police officer had his house burned down completely, everything, including a very
it was a very special guitar.
It was a very special guitar. Thank you, Mark.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was the officer's name is Keith Bartlett, and he loved music, especially country music, and something happened a few years ago. He was able to help Randy Travis and his wife with a break-in. that had happened at their home, and he helped them out so much that when they heard about the fire, they decided that they were gonna give him a little bit of a surprise.
Right.
So he got called out on a a fake call, if you will, to go check out something suspicious, and being the seasoned cop he is, he just he's like, okay, kind of went and checked it out, but not really. He checked it out legitimately, but he pretty much knew there was going to be nothing there. And when he returned back to the station, he was greeted by Randy Travis, Randy Travis's wife, and the officer's family was there as well.
That's nice.
And the Travises donated a whole bunch of furniture and stuff. But the really heartwarming thing is Randy Travis knew a giant guitar company. I'm trying to remember which one it is. It wasn't Fender. It was anyway, one of the major guitar dealers. And so he bought Keith a brand new guitar.
Yeah, it was like an exact copy or a replica of it.
And then he signed it too.
That's like icing on the cake right there.
It is though.
Like when you have a signed guitar by a famous musician, that's
not even like a famous musician. I mean, Brad Paisley has a signed guitar from I cannot think of his name. Andy Griffith. There it goes. I was trying to think of the show. He has a signed guitar from Andy Griffith because Andy Griffith did a music video for one of Brad Paisley's songs.
Ah, okay.
And while they were filming the video, Andy Griffith had this wooden. I don't know how it all transpired, but Andy Griffith signed it and gave it to Brad Paisley. And even to this day, Brad Paisley cherishes that because Andy Griffith was a hero of his.
Right.
So it's kind of cool because it happens both, even as stars get other stars things, it's very heartwarming. But even when stars give, ordinary, police officers, and who, in my eyes, a lot of police officers are celebrities because they put their lives on the line. Maybe not all the time, but more of the time than half of us do. They're the ones that keep us safe.
Right.
So I thought this was a really cool story to add. The first time I heard it, I turned to April and I said, "This is a story. I'm doing this on the next show." Because I love the whole fact that Randy Travis, despite having some troubles right now, is like
still will do,
he's like, I can help.
Such nice things like this.
But he didn't just give him a guitar; he gave him furniture and donated a whole bunch of other stuff. But the big thing was this guitar.
Actually, this story kind of rings out to me a little bit too, because a long, long time ago, my dad was caught in a house fire, and my dad had a guitar and it was beautiful. It was this Gibson SG, and it was gold plated, and I forget which year it is, but it's old. This thing is an antique. It is like a collector's item, and basically, he thought it perished in the fire. And, a couple days later, my dad goes looking through this burnt down house or whatever, and he's walking through, these burnt remains and everything, and he sees, that golden, God's light. Like how after a fire or a storm, you'll see, those God rays.
The rays of light.
The rays of light that shine through the sky and the clouds. Well, my dad's walking through this place, and one of those rays, it, comes shining right into the house. And where it stops is just amazing, because where the ray hit was where the guitar was sitting, and it was still there. It was the perfect shape of the guitar, and it was just covered in a fine layer of soot. But he brushed it off, and the guitar was okay. It had a little bit of singeing on it, but apart from that, the guitar was in perfect condition, except for that little bit of singeing. And it still worked.
And that you could probably buffer out a little bit.
Well, yeah. And yeah, that's what he did. He brushed it off, cleaned it off, and everything. He got it I think he got it replated. I'm not sure.
He might have gotten it restrung too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, restringing, that's just a normal guitar maintenance.
Right.
And he still has that. Well, he doesn't have it right now because I have it. My dad, this guitar is a treasure. It really is. This thing is worth a lot of money, and my dad's held on it for all these years. And over the past decade, he's gone through some difficulties, and some of his possessions have ended up here and there. But of all the things, he's entrusted me to hold on to this guitar.
Nice.
And let me tell you, man, this thing is beautiful.
Is it?
I'm like almost tearing up just thinking about it.
Okay, now when you get home, you got to take a picture of it and send it.
I will send you a picture of this guitar, and you know what? I'll even make sure the picture makes it to our page because this guitar is such a beauty. So it's really cool hearing about this story because my dad was in a very similar situation, except the guitar made it, and it's a cool story.
I think so too.
It's a really cool story.
And a lot of people sit there and go, okay, well, you might as well just end the show because how can you top that? But we can top that because there's a couple in New York City that have received nearly 400 mysterious letters to Santa.
That's a lot of letters.
And then that's not all. And they fulfilled the letters. So not only did they get the Santa wish lists from kids, they fulfilled them too.
Really?
Really. So 6 years ago, Jim Glab and Dylan Parker received nearly 400 letters addressed to Santa to their New York City apartment. For no reason, they have no clue. And Glub said it was one batch after another. We would dread opening the mailbox because we knew that 25 to 30 letters would pour out.
Oh, that's great.
He said that in an interview. Since then, the letters have continued to come, although it was not such large quantities. And the couple now live in London and still have no idea why so many people think that Santa lives at their former address. On 22nd Street in Manhattan. But every year they answer the wish list, tapping into their social networks and sending clothes, shoes, things like that. Glub also said that we are trying to help adding that answering the letters has become part of our holiday tradition. The letters mostly from children in the New York area who ask for clothing and list their sizes or request turkeys for Christmas dinners. Some parents write letters on their behalf of the children to explain that they've fallen on hard times and could use some help buying presents. Before 2010, the couple had received a few letters addressed to Santa each year, which they brushed off as weird occurrences. But that year they went and got some of the letters, and they realized that they wanted to do something. Glubba was also said that I was telling people about the letters and they didn't feel right about them at all. My friends were like, why don't we each take a letter? And it inspired them. So they began distributing the letters to different people who wanted to answer some. And, people at work, family, friends, passerbyers, just kind of random people, everyday people. And this year, another big one for letters received more than 350 and answered them all. So
that's a lot of letters to answer.
That is a lot of letters to answer. I mean, I couldn't even imagine 25 to 30 letters every day.
These people need a GoFundMe or something. That's a lot to handle.
The cool part about it is they don't need one. They literally have been distributing out these letters to people who, have heard this story and want to help.
It's like a charity, kind of, almost.
It's almost like a charity. No, it's like a pass it on, if you will.
Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of how it is. I've seen that kind of thing with like Halloween too before. Like, we our neighborhood used to do the pass a basket on a porch, and then you have to deliver. You get to keep that basket, but you make like another like 2 baskets and pass them on 2 other porches and kind of spread it out, kind of thing.
Right.
We used to do that for Halloween. So I mean, this is kind of reminds me of the same thing.
Now that the couple doesn't live in that house anymore, the current tenant of that residence gives the letters to a friend of his in New York who scans them and then sends them digitally to London. And then they'll distribute them on a Facebook group now for people who want to send presents. Now they're also in the process of making a Miracle on 22nd Street official organization. So like you said, it is kind of like a charity.
Right.
They've even talked with Tina Fey about doing a movie based on their story.
Oh my God, that would be a heartwarming movie.
Everyone wants to help, said Glub. So we're going to create a nonprofit to help families in need, hopefully year-round.
That's nice.
Well, they still don't know why they got the letters in the first place. They have some theory. Maybe their address was printed in a school newsletter or mistaken at Macy's. Or maybe someone who lived in the apartment many years ago did the same thing. But they also said that everyone wants an answer to these, and maybe the answer is just a mystery, he said. I mean, this is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, yeah, to figure out like how it just happened, so for so many people to be sending letters to one address, and that they're answering them is even more amazing, and it's a strange phenomenon, but it really shows the holiday spirit. And just the spirit of giving, and
and the fact that it just kind of randomly happened to this couple, and they, originally they were kind of like, why is this why us? Why is this happening? And then their friend just kind of was like, well, why don't you just distribute them to different people, and maybe we can do something about it.
Right.
And I mean the fact that that's inspiring them to start up a charity.
It restores my faith in humanity a little bit.
A little bit. See, and again, I've said this a million times, but that's one of the whole points of the show is to find little things like this that kind of restores your faith in humanity just a little bit. Not a lot, but just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Enough that you're not like, oh, all hope is lost and the millennials have nothing left to do. They're screwing it up and things like that.
It's all about the millennials, man.
All about the millennials. But no, it's one of those things that I love this story. The fact that it's just random people helping. I mean, I've told you the story a million times before about the guy who would randomly go and pay layaways. Just randomly, not leave his name or anything, just pay off a layaway. Of a family who seemed to be struggling and had kids, and that like their gifts were what was in the layaway. And I feel like this is kind of the same thing. I mean, could you imagine if you were kind of in a hard situation, as a kid, and you sent a letter to Santa and it actually got gifts?
That kind of reminds me, not quite as magical, but I know like what you can do too is like you can write letters to like Disney characters and all that.
Yep.
And send them to Disney World or Disneyland, and they'll send a reply back signed by the character.
Right.
Which I always thought was kind of cool. Certainly not as magical as this, in my opinion.
Not at all.
But still,
because that's an organization, and that's something that it's
a corporate thing.
Yeah, they're like, okay, and they've got millions of people who
do this.
Can sit there and answer these letters. This is literally a couple
making the magic happen.
Well, and even they don't even live in the house anymore. They don't even live in this country anymore. They live in London.
Right.
But they're still doing it. They have the current tenant who lives there, who will take the letters, send them to a neighbor who scans them, and then sends them to them in London.
And that's great, too.
And then they distribute them on a Facebook page.
And it's great, too, that, the person who moved in there was willing to go along with this and help them out with it,
Come on, let's face it, if you moved into a house and this was going on, you would not say, no, I'm not going to help you out.
Right. Well, another thing, too, it's like they probably let people know, like, going in if they were going to buy that house. It's like, listen, little thing about this house.
You're going to get a lot of mail.
Yeah, for real, though. So, there had to be some kind of mention in the housing market for that one, which would have been really funny to see. But, I'm sure, the person hopefully knew going in that was going to happen, and they were happily willing to help. Because obviously they are. They're helping them out every year, and hopefully they're turning this into a year-long thing, which would be really cool.
I would hope so.
Mm-hmm. So it's a really nice story. I mean, I know a lot of the stories we do are really nice stories. I know I say that about a lot of our stories, but this is a nice story.
I say that about all of our stories.
You know what, though? We do nice stories.
I try.
Yeah.
I really do.
And, it just goes to show they're nice.
You know what else is nice?
What?
Welcome to
the Multiverse. Oh my god, I still make the face.
he makes this he gets this goofy grin on his face every time I play that.
Yeah, I do. So anyways, yeah, time for Mark's Multiverse. So this week, it's pretty technology centered. I got a lot of cool,
Hold up. Isn't it always technology centered?
Well, sometimes it's about space, sometimes it's about a new species and, stuff like that. But, this week is mainly centered more around like some technology, specifically tech trends today.
Okay.
So I'm going to talk to us about some tech trends and possible trends that we're going to watch for in 2017. So with 2017 starting up, God, it's still kind of weird to say that.
Yes, it is.
But tech trend watchers are looking ahead to the innovations that will impact our daily lives in the soon-to-be future. Will 2017 be the year the self-driving car really takes off? Will companies like Apple continue to win over our markets despite some of their not-so-thought-out designs, like that headphone jack?
That's bad.
That's one of my favorites.
Pause for a second.
Go ahead.
So I bought my girlfriend a set of headphones. They're really nice, over-the-ear headphones.
Oh, are they those dongle ones?
No, they're ones like we had
like regular ones with the aux ports and everything.
No, they're just like the ones that the ones that
the quarter-inch jacks.
Yeah, if you lost yours, they came with the adapter.
Yeah. You got a headset like that.
But it was like they're the white ones with the pink on them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I got her a set of those. They were pretty cheap, but because her adapter didn't work with her phone, I also had to buy her an adapter. Well, I'm not just going to buy her an adapter that'll just give her an audio jack. So I gave her an adapter that's split so she can charge and listen to music at the same time.
Well, there you go.
So, boyfriend of the year, right here. Just saying.
There you go. So anyways, that's actually a pretty good gift there.
I thought so.
Mm-hmm. So continuing on, will the new companies come into play to challenge the big boys, or for every development that comes along to shift the ways people live their lives? There are plenty of examples, like one of them being virtual reality, that have yet to live up to all the new hype. I know people have been hearing a lot about virtual reality, which quite honestly, I think it's going to be a big thing. I think they're still working out some of the kinks in it.
I don't think virtual reality, like the actual virtual reality is going to be a big thing. It's the because they've got VR, which is virtual reality, and then they've got
AR, which is augmented reality.
And I think AR is the one that they just came out with. What is the thing that that's really big right now? It's something that just came, an Oculus.
Yeah, that's virtual reality. The Oculus Rift.
I didn't think the Oculus Rift was virtual reality. I thought.
Yep, it is. It's like a goggle. It's like a set. It's like a headset that goes over your face.
Right.
And like you see everything around. You can look around, and it's like looking around.
But I thought that was augmented reality, not actual virtual reality.
That's virtual reality.
Okay.
I'm a little unclear on the definition of augmented reality. I'll be sure to look into that, and maybe I'll define the difference between virtual and augmented next week. But basically, one thing to look out for this year is the rise of the self-driving car, obviously. Autonomous vehicles have certainly been in the headlines a lot in the previous year. Just before Christmas, Uber shifted its self-driving car pilot program from San Francisco to Arizona as communities continued to struggle with how to regulate this radical new approach on the roads. Despite these setbacks, 2017 could be the year when self-driving cars become more present. Another piece of consumer technology that could really take off this year is the OLED TV. Say that 10 times fast.
OLED TV. LOV. No, I can't do it.
Yep, there it is. These high-end televisions could be the trend that will be most visible in everyday households. For those not familiar, televisions that use OLED, organic light emitting diodes, is what it stands for, have even better picture quality than standard HD TVs. Although it's not exactly new, they will most likely be much more mainstream this year. Hopefully 2017 is the year that they will become less expensive and more mainstream priced. Because these are supposed to be like some of those TVs that have the ridiculously good quality. I haven't done too much research into them yet, mainly because I'm still happy with my new TV. It's one of those 60-inch 4K TVs. So okay. It's kind of like the new technology of the moment.
Right.
And I still love it. I love it so much. But anyways, I'll be doing a little more research into these as well. Technically, it's actually not new technology. The OLED TVs have been around for about 3 to 5 years now. It's just they've been really, really expensive. So hopefully this will be moving down more into our price range. Which actually brings me to another point. I had a good laugh the other day when I saw a picture of an old PlayStation 2 8 MB memory card. And it just made me laugh.
Are you talking about like the ones that I have upstairs in my PlayStation 2?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It just made me laugh. I mean, no, don't get me wrong. Those things are treasures, man. I love them. But it's just really...
I think mine are bad because all the levels that I had on all my games are just gone.
Maybe.
I put in my games and it's like I'm starting from the beginning. I'm like,
oh, that's weird.
My childhood is gone. all 8 MB of them.
Right? But
and
here
3
it is,
different memory cards.
But it's just so funny too because here it is, back then 8 MB was big. And here it is now.
It was never big.
Well, it was big.
I never thought it was big. I'm like, why do I have to have 3 memory cards for my PlayStation 2?
But here it is now though too. You got a gigabyte, which I think is 1,000 megabytes, and now you have a terabyte. You can get a terabyte hard drive, which is like 1,000 gigabytes. And it's just like, oh man, that's a lot. So it's just like, here it is, you got like a little 8 MB memory card compared to like a terabyte hard drive that we have today.
Try sticking a terabyte, like try making a terabyte PlayStation 2 memory card and putting it in a PlayStation 2. I think you would fry the PlayStation 2.
The PlayStation 2 wouldn't even know what to do.
No.
It would be like floating in space and trying to figure out which direction you want to go in.
It'd be like WTF, mate?
It's like being in the middle of the Andromeda Galaxy and trying to figure out which way is Earth. So, anyways, moving back to topic though, another big tech we've been seeing is AI. From Siri and Cortana to cybersecurity, smart homes, and even smart toys, artificial intelligence has increasingly found a place in a wide range of industries and applications.
Let me tell you what, my grandma for Christmas got the new, she calls it Alexa. It's the Amazon Dot.
The speaker thing, right?
It's the Amazon Echo Dot. It is like $50 on Amazon, and it is the coolest thing ever.
Is it like a speaker?
No, the speaker one is about $150.
My friend Dominic has that.
This one is that's just the Amazon Echo. The Amazon Echo Dot is not. It doesn't have as good of a speaker on it.
Mm-hmm.
But what it is just a little circle.
Mm-hmm.
And when you set it up with your phone. It's got an app, and you can give it different features. Like I was playing around with my grandma's, and I gave it a Jeopardy feature. So you could say, Alexa, let's play Jeopardy. And it'll actually pop up, and it'll say, okay. And it talks about how there's always like a 6th question that nobody knows about.
Yeah.
And so each day there's 6 questions that you can answer and play Jeopardy. Every day.
That's cool.
And so there's like all these things that you can do with it. Well, if you are a person like I am and want to eventually one day have a smart home, so then that way, like, you can turn on and off your lights from your office and things like that.
That's gonna be really cool. I can't wait for that day and age where everyone has a smart home. That's gonna be cool.
I was gonna say not everyone, but you can do it. I mean, with my Comcast, I can do that. I just need to buy the right pieces. With Alexa, you can do it as well. You can walk in, Alexa, turn on kitchen lights, and she'll turn on the kitchen lights.
I dream of a day when I can live like Tony Stark.
Me too.
That would be amazing.
Anyway. But that would be AI. That would be artificial intelligence. It's just like...
Essentially, it's like Jarvis.
Pretty much.
For anyone who's seen Iron Man, it's Jarvis. Jarvis is an artificial intelligence. Or Cortana from Halo.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So basically, though, AI is finding its way in all kinds of industries and applications. One good example is self-driving cars. Imagine you go into your car and turn right. The AI is in your car, and it knows and will be able to predict where you would want to head as part of your routine.
That's where I draw the line. I wouldn't want... I'm kind of like Will Smith in the movie I, Robot. Like, I would still want to do everything manually. I would manually want to drive and things like that. I'd have a motorcycle stashed in a storage unit that would be against the law to drive because of the gases that it produces. Like, I can't, I won't have a car drive it for me. I want to be able to have control of the car.
You see, I'm kind of like half and half too. I always want the option to drive my car in case I want to, because, sometimes driving can be a dread, but sometimes it can be, sometimes I love it too. But I think it'd be kind of cool to be like, get in the car and be like, hey, Alexa, take me to work, or take me to Jenna's house, or take me to errands. Let me just say, long drives would be kind of cool to be able to.
I would rather teleport than have a car drive me itself.
Wouldn't you like to sit in your car and just fall asleep and wake up at your destination?
No.
No?
Because I'm not sure if I'd wake up at my destination. The car could crash itself.
Okay, maybe.
And see, I'm a huge Doctor Who fan, and I literally just got done watching a Doctor Who episode where they had this thing called Atmos, and everywhere had it, and it was an alien technology, and it was driving random people into the lake who were figuring out what Atmos really was.
Okay, that's different.
Me.
There's a lot of back and forth with artificial technology as well, because the thing is, there's people who think that it's going to make everything easier. Like, for example, like with Halo, you got Cortana, who can run an entire starship. Or there's people who look at it more from the Doctor Who or one of the more popular ones is the Terminator aspect of it, where artificial intelligence becomes self-aware, which is kind of like what happened with iRobot.
Yes.
So
that's exactly
what
happened with iRobot.
So it's like there's a lot of people who are cautious about artificial technology because of stuff like that, but there's also a lot of ways that it can benefit us too. I mean, actually, Iron Man was a good example of.
Did you know that Mark Zuckerberg has his own Jarvis?
Yeah, he has his own Jarvis. He has his own smart home. He has the whole shebang.
Yep.
He's living like Tony Stark.
Pretty much.
But anyways, Iron Man, it's like Tony Stark's. He runs a smart home. Jarvis is a smart home essentially, and he goes everywhere with him. But at the same time, you also got to think in like Avengers: Age of Ultron, that kind of backfired. Because he tried to create like an ultimate artificial intelligence to protect the world, and it ended up being Ultron, who tried to destroy humankind. So, really, I mean, there's a lot.
I think Tony Stark just needs to stay in his smart home and be Iron Man and protect the world himself. That's what he needs to do.
Maybe, but either way, though, I mean, there's a lot. Like I said, there's a lot. Or
let the Avengers do it.
Yeah, but either way, like I said, there's a lot of back and forth on artificial intelligence. I think everything in moderation, but we'll see how it goes. But either way, this year will present many opportunities for companies to utilize new tech and bring it into new lights, whether it be a phone, a laptop, maybe a car, virtual reality, or even the power of an artificial intelligence in your pocket or home. This year has some amazing things in store of us, I think.
Me too.
It can't possibly be worse than 2016, but I'm going to knock on wood for that one. Hang on.
Got it.
Because I would be, oh God, yes, knock on wood. So either way, I'm hoping. So moving into the next topic.
You accidentally hit the doorbell. That's not the door.
Oh.
Just saying.
My bad.
Okay.
So moving on to the next topic. Rhode Island has been working with offshore wind farms. 15 miles off the coast of Rhode Island stand 600-foot turbines anchored in 90 feet of Atlantic waters. They are expected to generate enough energy to power 17,000 homes. The turbines will most benefit Block Island because of its location, 45 minutes by boat from the mainland. It currently gets its oil and gas shipped in. Residents pay a premium at peak times, nearly 60 cents per kilowatt. The wind farm is expected to cut that cost to about 24 cents. So that's over half the cost gone, which is pretty good. While countries like Denmark have been using offshore wind farms since the early 1990s, U.S.-based projects have been stalled due to court fights over environmental fears and protests over the turbines blocking beachfront views. You probably remember me talking about this. I think it was either our last show or the show before that. I was talking about those wind towers that they were going to do.
Right, yeah.
And they were concerned about them blocking the view.
Yeah.
But either way, other projects are in the works, potentially bringing 200 more wind turbines to the area within the next 10 years. Draper expects people will get used to the new scenery. They do need to get used to the new scenery. Because let me put it this way. If we don't make the jump to alternative energies, there won't be any scenery.
Or we could take the whole Doctor Who affect and just vacate the planet and find a new one.
We're probably going to have to if they keep it up at this rate. I mean, literally, we're making the jump to our...
You can calm down. You don't have to shout.
They're slowly making the transition to alternative energies, but, like, really, every day that we use fossil fuels is... Or fossil
fuels?
Yes, fossil fuels is another day towards badness.
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 Badness. That's what you're gonna go with.
Fossil fuels are not the answer. alternative energies are. And
but
we need to,
what you're gonna
whether
use
it
to
be wind
that.
turbines or, even nuclear power. We have to figure that one out a little more because the disposal waste of that can be really, really bad too. So
I was gonna say, and if it's not done right, a nuclear facility can go up quick.
Yeah, but
that's why I'm not really like yeah, it seems like a good idea, but I don't really think it's.
I'm not as much for nuclear power. It's one of the ways to create a lot of power fast, but the runoff of it is not good. But no, like wind power, hydropower, solar power is a big one that I really believe in. There's other ones too. I think harnessing the power of magnetic energy would be really cool. I mean, if you were to harness it correctly, I feel that you could probably create almost limitless energy with the power of magnets. My dad believes so too. We used to tinker around trying to make little magnet engine experiments in the garage, and sometimes I've even tinkered around with the idea of a magnet-propelled vehicle, which I think would be kind of cool. So either way, I think alternative energies, they still have a ways to go, but I think we're slowly moving in the right direction, but I feel we need to move a little faster. But with that being said, I'm going to move into the next topic a little bit, which is about GM expanding its self-driving car test to Detroit. That's right, Aaron, your worst fear, self-driving cars in our own city, in our own state.
At least it's GM that's doing it.
Fair enough. So General Motors has started testing fully autonomous vehicles on public roads around its technical center in suburban Detroit. The announcement came just 1 week after Governor Rick Snyder signed legislation that allows the cars to be tested on public roads without a driver or a steering wheel. But the automaker says for now it will have human backup drivers for its fleet of autonomous Chevrolet Bolt electric cars.
At least it's Chevy.
Yeah. Testing started in December on roads near the Tech Center in Warren, Michigan. The Bolts will soon move to the entire Detroit metro area, which will serve as the company's main testing center for snowy and cold weather. Weather is one of the biggest obstacles for autonomous cars because snow can stop cameras and other sensors from spotting critical things, such as lane lines and traffic signals. GM's other public road testing sites are in warm climates. San Francisco, Scottsdale.
See, and if you want to test cars, Michigan's the best place to do it because we have the worst winters.
If you can perfect it here, you can perfect it anywhere.
I was going to say we have the worst winters, we have great summers, we have,
we have a large range.
We do.
Mm-hmm. But anyways, currently its program is running about 40 autonomous Bolts in tests. GM will build an unspecified number of fully autonomous Bolts in the assembly line where regular Bolts are made in order to gain expertise in building autonomous vehicles. The Bolt can go 238 miles on a single charge and costs about $30,000 when a $7,500 federal tax credit is factored in. Autonomous Bolts, which have a distinctive spinning laser towards towers on their roofs, will come off the assembly line in Orion Township, north of Detroit, sometime this year. So this is actually right in my home, right in my area, right in my hometown. Rochester is in the middle of all this. GM has been testing autonomous Bolts in the sprawling technical center grounds earlier last month, but wanted to move to public roads as soon as the law became effective to take advantage of weather. Executives wouldn't say when GM would start testing without a human driver, but predicted it would be within a couple of years. GM also wanted to start running a fleet of autonomous taxis that could be summoned by passengers and is allowed under the new Michigan law. So there you have it, Aaron. We're going to have testing on all these automated vehicles operated by artificial intelligence within the next few years, most likely. How does that make you feel?
If one of them hits me, I'm going to have make sure my family sues GM. That's all I've got to say.
Fair enough.
Because the human backup driver is probably going to sit there and play on their phone.
Oh, you know it.
And not going to pay attention. And I'm going to die.
I'm sure there's going to be some people like that. But the thing is, the point of the backup drivers is that's what they are. They're a backup. This is a testing.
So they're supposed to be paying attention to the road.
I'm sure
and
they
then
will.
If something goes wrong...
You're talking about the bad employee.
Yes.
Not everybody's a bad employee.
Who's going to kill me?
Oh, always negative Nancy over here.
One, my name is not Nancy. It's A.A. Ron. And two...
You done messed up, A.A. Ron.
Somebody has to be negative.
Either way, right? Hey, you know what? There's a reason they're doing all this stuff on testing grounds right now. They're not on the main roads yet. The reason is because they are testing.
But they said that they were going to be testing on the main roads.
They're going to be once they're sure that this is a safe thing.
That's going to be a while.
Like I said, it could be a few years. So either way, though, it's a big project. They're going to be moving into it soon, and I'm hoping it'll go well. I think it's going to go well.
You know what I think is going to go well?
What is going to go well?
Movie Madness Monday! Movie Madness Monday!
I agree.
Movie Madness Monday, I feel like, is going to go very well. But we are going to start off on kind of a sad note.
Yes, it's not starting off well.
Because of the new year and Christmas and all that.
We have to take our moments and pay our respects.
We do. So we're going to talk about all the celebrities, and these are just a few. We're not saying that there aren't more that are important. We just picked out the ones that we were familiar with, and kind of were sad for us to hear that passed away. So we're going to talk about the celebrities that have passed away in 2016. When we are done, when the show's over, there already is right now. I posted it like earlier today. There's going to be a link, or there is a link on the Topic Talks Facebook page that has all of these people in order. It's actually a really cool video. And I also in the description there's also a link to a website that has more than just what's in the video. And there actually is more than what we're mentioning. Like we said, we picked through and these are the people that we know. There are also more on the video as well. So make sure you go and check that out. I loved it. I thought it was a great video. So the first person we're going to talk about is Gene Wilder. He was best known for his Blazing Saddles, Young Frankenstein, and Willy Wonka. He died at the age of 83.
God bless his soul, man.
I was going to say we devoted a good portion of one show talking just about all the different things that he's done. He was an awesome actor. Anything you've got to say on this, Mark?
I just have to say the world hasn't been the same since he's been gone. Gene Wilder was an amazing. He was an amazing man, and he was an amazing actor. He was an incredible human being, and the fact that we had him for as long as we did was a gift.
I think that can be said for a lot of the people on this list.
That's true. You're probably gonna hear me say that a lot about a lot of these people.
Doris Roberts is the next one. I was actually a little bit surprised. I forgot about this because it happened so early in the year.
Yeah, I didn't even realize it.
She was known for Marie Brone, which was a movie. She was also on Everybody Loves Raymond. She played the annoying mother. And for those of you that don't know, she also played in Full House. She played the grandma.
You see,
the mother of Danny Tanner.
The thing is, I never actually watched any of those shows.
I love Everybody Loves Raymond.
The big thing I know Doris Roberts from, and one of the things I treasured her for was her part in the movie Grandma's Boy.
That was really good.
She was the main character's grandma,
good.
And quite honestly, I remember her better than the main character in the movie. She was absolutely amazing. She was she was just so funny.
She was kind of like a Betty White.
She was kind of like a Betty White. But by the way, God bless her. Thank God we
still have Betty White.
Knock on wood. But really, Doris Roberts was an amazing actress. It's sad to see her go. I think one of my favorite scenes from the Grandma's Boy movie was when they were all having that party, and she was like, "Oh, well, you like cereal?" And the one guy's like, "Oh yeah, I like this kind of cereal." But he disagreed with something else she said, like 5 minutes earlier or whatever. And she's like, "Well, tough shit. People who don't like this don't get cereal."
No, she was an amazing actress. Another person that was on Everybody Loves Raymond. He played the father. He passed away several years ago. That was it wasn't in 2016. It was a few years ago.
Okay.
But that caught me by surprise, too. He's a very funny actor. He was actually one of my favorite characters in the show, along with Doris. But, it was just the chemistry that they had together.
Mm-hmm.
It's also Gary Marshall was also one. He was a writer, producer, and actor. He played in
Busy Guy.
I think he directed and played in Happy Days, Mork and Mindy. That one actually had Robin Williams. Laverne and Shirley. He also directed Pretty Woman. He died at the age of 81. And if I didn't say it, Doris was 90 when she passed away.
Yeah. Gary Marshall, I'm not really too familiar with his work as much. I know of it.
Happy Days is great show.
I haven't watched them, but
Hey.
he was, like I said, he was a writer, he was a producer, he was an actor. He was a busy guy.
Well,
he was a jack of all trades.
I was gonna say, and if you go back, I feel like Happy Days and Mork and Mindy would be shows that you like, because Mork and Mindy was about Mork was an alien who's come to Earth to study humans.
Really?
Yes, and the alien was played by Robin Williams, and it was just hilarious.
Have you ever seen My Favorite Martian with Christopher Lloyd and?
I have not.
It's Christopher Lloyd. He's a Martian, and then
yes, I have. That was a great movie.
And you got Jeff Daniels.
Yes, that was a great movie.
I gotta watch that sometime soon.
We also have Alan Young, who was an actor. He played on He was on the show Mr. Ed. I don't know if you remember Mr. Ed.
Yeah, he was that talking horse.
No, well, he was the guy who talked to the horse. Mr. Ed was the talking horse.
Yeah.
He passed away at age 96. We've also got...
That's still an incredible lifespan.
Oh, yeah.
Make it to 96.
We've also got Glenn Frey, who was a songwriter and the founder of the Eagles. He wrote the song Take It Easy, Peaceful, Easy Feeling. He was only 67 when he passed away. That was a shock. Like, I was heartbroken. Because I love the Eagles.
That was a hard one,
and he was one of the main guys who wrote almost every Eagles song there is.
My mom is like an Eagles fanatic, so naturally I grew up with the Eagles, and I probably heard Take It Easy at least twice a week.
Actually,
up.
I really wasn't a big Eagles fan. I really didn't know who they were until I went to this leadership training, and we were just, for some reason, we picked up this song, and it was one year we picked up this song and we would play it.
Take It Easy?
Yeah. And we would play it, and it was also kind of like Take Me Home Country Roads. We used that from John Denver as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because there would be points, because the training was long, it was boring, it was a week training, the staff was there for a week and a half, but we needed to break up some of the boring lectures with a little bit of fun. So we'd have we'd play Cotton Eye Joe to dance to, Love Shack, things like that. But we'd also just kind of mellow out. We'd play songs like Take It Easy and Take Me Home Country Roads, because they were just nice songs. They were kind of relaxed. When people were getting up, have to go to the bathroom or stuff, we'd just sit there and listen to it. And that's kind of when I really fell in love with the Eagles.
Yeah, the Eagles, they were a really, really good band.
They were touring, but without Glenn Frey, you've only got two left.
Yeah, weren't they one of the bands that they had some other guys kind of sub in to play some of the music with them?
They've had several different people over the years. I watched a documentary on the Eagles, which was very fascinating, because there's only two from the original group.
There are still left.
But it's considered three.
Right.
From the original group, there were some people who left. There's some people mostly people who left. And they broke up, got back together.
Still, fantastic band.
Fantastic band.
So it's sad. It's sad to see. Well, it was sad to see him go.
It was. I still can't get over it.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things. He was an awesome guy. Like I said, the Eagles wouldn't be what they are today without him.
Yeah, definitely not. It's yeah. The Eagles, like I said, I grew up with the Eagles, and Take It Easy, and some of their other songs too. I think they did. Didn't they do Witchy Woman?
No. Yes, they did.
Witchy Woman was another one that I listened to a lot as a kid, and because my mom, like I said, my mom absolutely loves the Eagles. For New Year's we were all partying and everything, and we were listening to some Eagles, and I think I might even have a little bit of Eagles on my phone. But
I have a lot of them. I have a lot of the Eagles on my phone.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's it's yeah. It's sad.
The next person we had, I'm gonna do this.
Here's the story of a lovely lady.
Come on, do you know what this is?
Yeah, it's the Brady Bunch.
It is the Brady Bunch. The next person on our list is Florence Henderson. She played the mother, Carol Brady, on the Brady Bunch.
Oh, man.
She passed away at age 82. She was born in 1969. Or no, she played on the Brady Bunch from 1969 to 1974. I misspoke. I apologize.
I was about to say, be hard to be 82 if you were born in 69.
Right. Anyway, so she's 80, or she was 82. That's another big loss. Along with this next one, and Mark needs to watch some more series because Alan Thicke was an actor. He was the father on Growing Pains, Jason Seaver. He also, and this is how I know him, he was kind of played like it was a cameo. He played himself in the show How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah, no, I never really watched. I was more of a Big Bang Theory person.
See, you can do both because I do both.
How
I Met Your Mother is fantastic. Anyway, but in How I Met Your Mother, what it was is one of the characters always got made fun of for being Canadian. They always pointed it out. Not the actual actress, but the character.
Right.
And so they always brought in Robin Thicke whenever they talked about her Canadian heritage. So you saw him a lot in the series, and I actually was just watching a show today when Alan Thicke was on there, and I didn't even know that he had passed away. He was age 69, and then he played in Growing Pains. That was a show. I didn't see too much of it. I don't remember too much of it, but I do know when I was a kid I used to watch it all the time. The next guy on our list, I knew when this happened, and I thought it was sad because it happened right after he retired. His name's Morley Safer. He was a journalist for CBS for 52 years. He was on 60 Minutes for 46 years, and he won 12 Emmy Awards. He was 84. It was like maybe a week after he retired. He had just decided he was going to retire. His retirement went into effect, and he passed away.
Oh, man.
But he loved what he did. He really didn't want to retire. He just thought it was time.
Right. I think I remember hearing about that too, though.
But Morley Safer is one of the ones that, like, when you hear his voice, you think 60 Minutes. That's how long he's been doing that show. But he's done so much in his lifetime. If you ever get a chance to watch a documentary on Morley Safer, I would highly suggest it. The things he's got to see, those stories he's got to report are just phenomenal.
Yeah.
And the way he wrote his stories they were awesome. And then this is one that Mark wanted me to add to the list.
Yes, you guys might know Eli Wiesel. He was a Jewish writer and political activist. He was a Holocaust survivor and a Nobel laureate. He was age 87 when he died this past year, and a lot of people might know him I know him from back in middle school when we were required to read the book Night, which was a story about Eli and his father going through the Holocaust together and through a lot of the struggles that they endured. He saw his father die in that, in the book. And,
right.
That wasn't even like, I don't remember if that was the worst of it, but like just the long, hard journey that they had to endure through the Holocaust. Eli Wiesel was an inspiration. He's seen a lot of things. I think he even guested with Oprah at one point in one of her shows where she was actually talking about the Holocaust, and they visited the Holocaust Museum together.
That would be a cool sight to see.
Yeah, so it's he's definitely seen some things. And Night wasn't the only book he wrote. He was a novelist. He wrote a lot of books. I mean, me and Aaron were just going through some of it before the show. He did so much, and it's sad to see him go because he with Eli Wiesel going, so goes a piece of our world's history.
Kind of just like Harper Lee, who is next on our list. She won the Pulitzer Prize for fiction for her book To Kill a Mockingbird, which
was also another book that I read in middle school.
I didn't read Night Actually, I read To Kill a Mockingbird in high school.
No, it might have been high school. Yep.
I didn't have to read Night, but I read I didn't even have to read it. We read a different book. We read a book about Emmett Till, and that was talking about slavery as well. But we got to watch the movie To Kill a Mockingbird because all the other classes were reading. Because the book that we read was Mississippi Trial 1955. It was about a little boy named Emmett Till who was murdered.
You see, we were reading To Kill a Mockingbird while everybody else was reading Catcher in the Rye. I never actually read Catcher in the Rye, which is not something a lot of kids could say because most kids read Catcher in the Rye at one point.
No, that wasn't us either. But I did get to watch the movie, and it was from what I heard, from what I saw, it was a great movie. And I heard it followed the book very closely.
Yeah.
Everybody who read the book says it's an awesome book and it's a must read.
Mm-hmm.
So if you haven't had the chance, I would definitely recommend it. From everybody, like everybody raves about it. And if I didn't say it, she was 89 when she passed away. Yep. Also, Alan Rickman. That was
everybody knows about Alan Rickman.
Alan Rickman. He played Hans Gruber in Die Hard, and he also played Severus Snape in the Harry Potter. He was age 69.
I was really, 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 really sad to see Alan Rickman go. And it's just like, here it is. You know, I've always known him as Severus Snape, you know, from Harry Potter.
Yep.
But I've seen him in other stuff too. You know, the original thing I first saw him in was that Tim Allen movie, Galaxy Quest.
I literally just watched that the other day. And I was like, look who this has in it. And I watched it, and I'm like, okay, that was a pretty sweet movie. It was very weird, but very sweet.
It was a strange movie, but Galaxy Quest is a good movie.
Galaxy
if you like
Quest.
Tim Allen or you like Alan Rickman, it is something you should check out.
Galaxy Quest, it was about it was kind of like
it's almost like a Star Trek, Star Wars kind of spoof.
I was going to say it was
more
so
Star
what
Trek,
it is,
I'd
is
say.
They, like, it's about this crew who was on the ship, so it kind of goes with, like, the Star Trek. And the actors are kind of washed up, and they go on signings, and they don't get along, and they actually get pulled into space.
Yeah, the actors who play these characters, Tim Allen, Alan Rickman, they're in cast or whatever, they play in the TV show Galaxy Quest. And, you know, the fame, they're riding it out, all that stuff. They go to conventions, sign autographs, all that kind of thing. Meanwhile, the transmission for their show Galaxy Quest was transmitted into space without them realizing it, and an alien species picked it up who was being terrorized by this other species guy. And, you know, they came to them for help, and not knowing that they were actors and not actual galactic heroes.
Right.
So, you know, and so they kind of acted out a little bit. They create like an exact replica of their ship and everything like that, which was pretty great.
Yeah, and so everything worked just like it did in the show.
I love how
the controls were the same, so they ended up like being able to fly it, but anyway, Galaxy Quest, it was a great movie, along with the Harry Potter series. Alan Rickman was an awesome actor,
and he is sorely missed.
Very much so. Just like David Bowie, who also passed away, also at age 69. He was a Grammy winner, influenced music and culture for 4 generations.
Didn't they pass away in like the same week or the same month?
It was
I'm pretty sure it was pretty close, because I'm like, oh, come on, another amazing celebrity dies at the age 69. I remember thinking that at one point.
And I'm pretty sure, I don't know, I feel like they all like passed away in clusters. Anyway, so David Bowie, everybody knows about him. I'm pretty sure we did a special on him too.
I was just listening to Suffragette City New Year's Eve.
Next on our list is John Glenn. He was a World War II and Korea warfighter pilot. He was also a Marine colonel. He was a NASA astronaut, senator from Ohio, and he was married for 73 years. He was also the first American to orbit the Earth.
And he died at the age of 95. Man, talk about a full slate.
Right.
He did like everything.
Yes. Yes, he did.
But yeah, you know, a man of, you know, many paths. John Glenn was a man who lived.
Right.
So it's crazy. Like, you know, somebody like that, you there's no way you wouldn't be surprised when they do die. So it's like, you know, it's sad to see him go age 95. When was that?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I remember. I think it was maybe like a couple months ago. Because I think I remember hearing about it, and it was just like everybody was shocked, but it was more, you know, like our folks, you know, like like our elders or our parents, you know, people who know that better, you know. We're like next to the millennials, so we don't know as much about history as much because we weren't as exactly there for it, you know. But either way,
I know a lot about history.
Either way, though, John Glenn...
Mr. Harriet Tubman, the president that got stuck in the bathtub.
Don't get on me about that, okay? Harriet and Harriet, all right?
It's Harry and Harriet.
Oh, whatever, stop. Anyways, John Glenn is, like I said, you know, sad to see him go. That's, You know what?
He passed away. He passed away.
He was married for 73 years.
He passed away December 8th.
How many people can say that they've been married for 73 years?
Did you hear me?
Yeah, he died December what?
8th.
December 8th. So it was like not even a month ago. So yeah, so really sad to go. But here it is, how many people...
Well, it was last year.
Well, yeah, technically it was last year.
No, it really was last year. Not technically. It was last year.
Okay. Either way, though, to be able to say you were married for 73 years, that's... this guy has a whole bunch of firsts behind him, Well, maybe not first, but, and he's got a lot of things that not a lot of people get to do.
He was the first man to orbit
He was the first man to orbit the Earth, and that's a heck of a title to go down in history forever.
You know what else should go down in history forever?
Who's that?
Kenny Baker.
Kenny Baker.
He played R2-D2.
He was the R2-D2 guy.
In the original Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
He also played
Papalu the Ewok.
Papalu the Ewok.
Yep.
And Kenny Baker was age 81.
You know what? I still get a kick out of R2.
R2.
Even then, when you go back and watch your old movies and you could actually see his feet in the costume or whatever, it's it's so great. R2-D2 is one of the best characters of all time.
Well, and it was a combination of him,
and it was him.
And there was also some electronics in there too.
Yeah,
because they did have some that was electronic that they could drive around, but it was mostly him.
Yeah, it's so cool though. I mean, it's Kenny Baker. He was R2-D2. First of all, R2-D2 is that character who, even if you're not a Star Wars fan, you know who R2-D2 is. Yes. You even know him over C-3PO. It doesn't matter who you are.
It's kind of like Pikachu of Star Wars.
Exactly. R2-D2 is literally the Pikachu of Star Wars. R2-D2 and C-3PO were literally...
It's you can tell when they're being sassy too.
I
just started watching or rewatching Pokemon again, and Ash is just starting off, and Pikachu has an attitude. And
like
it's
a serious
really funny.
It is.
Because Ash trying to get Pikachu to do all these things. And the first 2 episodes, Pikachu wouldn't do anything that Ash wanted him to do. And was laughing really hard because Ash didn't know what the hell he was doing.
Exactly.
And I feel like R2-D2 was the same way. Along with Princess Leia, who is next on our list, Carrie Fisher, who literally a few weeks ago passed away.
Not even a few weeks. It was not even a week ago.
Okay, not even a week ago. She was age 60.
That's so young.
And she did Star Wars, and the 4 sequels. And there's some good news. She did finish
filming for the next one.
For the next Star Wars
So
movie.
At least there's that, but still it's so sad to see her go. And back to Kenny Baker for a second. Did you know that R2-D2 and C-3PO are the only characters to show up in every Star Wars movie to date?
I did not.
They're the only ones to live from the first one to the last one, still be alive, and show up in every movie. All technically 8 of them. And I'm sure they're going to be in the Star Wars 8, which is technically going to be the 9th movie. So,
right.
Really, they're the only characters to show up through all of it. So again, Kenny Baker, amazing. I'm not sure if he was R2 every single time, but still sad to see him go. But either way, back to Carrie Fisher. I was pretty upset about this. I've been talking about it all day. Just ask Aaron. I was driving him nuts with it before the show.
Oh yeah, because he wanted to make it a topic, and I'm like, okay, well, we're doing celebrities that have passed away, and he's like, so should I delete the story? And I'm like, let me handle it. 5 minutes later, so what are we doing about the story? Mark, let me handle it. So what are we doing about this? I'm just going to delete it. Mark, leave it alone. I had to tell you about 20 times.
You probably did have to tell me about 20 times.
No, it wasn't probably. I had to tell you 20 times. There's no
count
probably, but yes. I was getting that annoyed. Anyway, no, Carrie Fisher was is a huge loss. Along with her mom, Debbie Reynolds.
Who died, I think, literally the next day.
It wasn't the next day.
Or it was 2 days later.
It was a couple days later. She had just got done, just finished
with the arrangements
for Carrie Fisher's funeral, and she passed away. And I guess her last words were that she wanted to see her. She missed her daughter.
Yep. 2 things is, first of all, for a lot of people who might not know who Debbie Reynolds is, you've seen Reynolds, okay. Anybody who's seen Halloween Town.
She played the grandma.
She was the magical grandma. She was a treasure. in that as well.
She also played in a movie called Singing in the Rain.
She did.
For any of you that had a grandma like mine who would sing the song "Singing in the Rain," just singing in the rain. That was Debbie Reynolds.
Was that her singing it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. She was in the movie. It was a movie called Singing in the Rain.
Mm-hmm. But anyways, though, another thing though, I just have to say, first of all, it's just truly sad to see, anytime ever in life where you hear or see about a parent who has to arrange a funeral for their own child.
That is really horrible.
It is really, really horrible. I'm almost tearing up just thinking about it.
Another one that was sad. Well, Debbie Reynolds was 84. Carrie Fisher was only 60.
So that means Debbie was 24 when she had her.
Yep.
That was my age now.
Arnold Palmer is our next on our list. He was He was not only just a famous golfer. He did a lot with a lot of different things. He did a lot with charity. He was actually one of the greatest golfers ever. He did more to popularize the sport than anybody else. But he also did a lot of charity work too. He was age 87. He even has his drink.
I was about to say, not even to mention, he's got his own drink, which is absolutely delicious.
And he was one of the spokespersons for the Xarelto, which is the for the AFib. It's a medication for afibrillation.
Oh, he did?
Yep, he did. With there were a few other guys that did it. One of them was a race car driver. The other one was an actor. The actor played in Happy Gilmore.
I think I remember when Arnold Palmer died, one of the first things I did shortly after that, and the same day, was I went to the gas station and I picked myself an Arnold Palmer drink. Or iced tea lemonade. Yeah,
but he was an awesome man. If you ever get the chance, go through and look at just his history. I did that because I'm pretty sure we mentioned him in a previous show as well.
I just realized, we've mentioned quite a few,
because they're big.
Classics. Yeah, I know, but it's seriously, in 2016, I feel like every other show we were... 2016 was bad to us.
Now this next person, I don't really only feel you would know if you knew the Detroit Red Wings. But it's Gordie Howe. He was a hockey player for the Detroit Red Wings for 25 seasons. He was a 23-time NHL All-Star. He was 88. Gordie Howe was a name that I knew when I was a kid.
Gordie Howe is a legend.
That's just something that you as a Michigander, you know who Gordie Howe is if you're anywhere from Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
If you follow the
sports at all,
if you follow any hockey at all, you know who Gordie Howe is.
Mm-hmm. Gordie Howe is he's going down as a legend forever as well. Especially a Michigander legend.
And the next actor that I'm gonna let Mark do this one.
Oh God, man, you're making me tear up already. You guys already know who I'm talking about. It's Anton Yelchin. He was Pavel Chekhov in the 3 Star Trek movies. He was born in, the movies were from 2009 to 2016, and he was only 27 when he died. And It was just really, it was such a sad death because, first of all, to see somebody so young.
I think that happened the same time Alan Rickman did.
No, this was...
Either that or it was Prince.
It was later on in the year. But either way, it was really, really sad to see Anton go. Yeah, it was around Prince. Because here it is, first of all, it's such a loss because he was so young. And I'm a huge, I love Star Trek. And it's so sad to see somebody like that go. And, I mean, I'm not going to lie that I'm curious about what they're going to do if they make more movies. But it's not just about that. I mean, anybody who likes Star Trek is going to have to make a point to remember Anton because he wasn't just an amazing actor. He wasn't just an amazing Chekhov, but he was an amazing person in real life too, from everything that I've heard about him. So really, it's sad to see him go. And here he is. He's one of the youngest people in this list that we're talking about that we saw go in this past year, and it really is sad. Don't you think so, Aaron?
I think it's actually a tragedy. It's kind of like Paul Walker last year.
Exactly. Exactly. It's saddening and astonishing to hear about as Paul Walker was because Paul was only 40. I mean, that's really, really young too. And, I still think about that. Paul Walker was involved in a lot too. There was a lot of movies he was in. I just watched Joyride last month. I don't know if you ever saw Joyride. It was a bit of a thriller movie that Paul Walker was in, but that was a good one. And I've seen So and I'm kind of curious to see if they do any kind of homage to Paul Walker in the next Fast and Furious movie, which we'll be talking about in a bit.
Actually, it wasn't last year when Paul Walker
passed
away.
Like,
it was 2013.
Yeah, it was 2013.
That was a
crazy.
while ago.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy how the time flies. My brother Justin, he still claims that Paul's alive somewhere.
Is he like an Elvis supporter too?
Yeah. Yeah, he's one of those. He's literally one of those.
I love Elvis as much as the next.
You can't mention the name Porsche without Justin talking about Paul Walker or James Dean. Or you can't mention James Dean about Justin mentioning Porsche or Paul Walker. Or you can't mention Paul Walker without Justin mentioning Porsche or James Dean. He's like a total like music and car movie and he's a nut about all that kind of stuff. It's crazy. But so it's he's a huge Elvis fan.
Anton died the same time Muhammad Ali and Gordie Howe all did, along with a whole bunch of others. Like I said, there's a huge list of people that have passed away.
Yeah, who else we got here? We got Merle Haggard, who was C&W singer-songwriter, I'm a Lonesome Fugitive, or OK
Merle
from
Haggard was a
Muskogee.
country legend.
Like I said, I'm not a country fan, so I don't know much about him.
He was a country legend. He was one of the original country music stars.
Was he?
Yes. He was 79 when he passed away. That was a huge for the country music industry. I'm pretty sure we covered that one too.
Yep.
Nancy Reagan is our next one. She was 94.
How long ago did Ronald go?
It was a long time. I feel like I was
just a kid.
It was a long time ago. I was a kid. I remember the funeral.
But then again, we also, like you said, we got Muhammad Ali. 3-time heavyweight champion, proclaimed the greatest. He was 74. I still can't believe, man, it's crazy how time flies. Like, he was 74.
Ronald Reagan passed away June 5th of 2004.
So, wow, that's 12 years. That's a long time.
Well, and Nancy Reagan was, just like Ronald Reagan was, Nancy Reagan was an actress before she became the First Lady.
I like that scene in Back to the Future where like, Doc's questioning Marty about the future, whatever, and he's like, well, who's president, from your time? And he's like, Ronald Reagan. He's like, Ronald Reagan, the actor?
Yeah. So she's going to be missed, but it's good that she's, up there with her husband. Muhammad Ali was, if you ever look at his life, he had a
list.
He had a unusual life. That would be a great documentary.
Yep. And then we also got Prince. Everybody heard about him.
We did something on that. Purple Rain. He was 57.
Yep. And then last on the list,
William Christopher. He played Father Mulcahy on one of my favorite TV shows, which is MASH.
Which I have not watched.
He was 84. MASH is a show about the Vietnam War.
Well, I know what it's about. Yeah, it's about a Vietnam War. They're like a medical unit, aren't they?
They're a mobile army surgical hospital. That's what MASH stands for. MASH. Mobile Army Surgical Hospital.
Ah, okay.
So what they would do is their job was to take people, they would get people from the front who have been shot, blown up, whatnot, that were still alive. If they were dead when they got there, they pronounced them dead. And then the army would take care of everything else. But if they could save them, they would perform...
They would do everything they could.
Well, they would perform what they would call meatball surgery, because it was literally they would just pull the shrapnel out, kind of patch them back together, and send them back on the front line.
Right.
And I mean, they worked in horrible conditions. They would drive themselves crazy because they're literally seeing kids that are 17, 18, 16... all these different
come back
ages.
In pieces.
And they're coming back in pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they're able to send them home, sometimes they're not. They just patch them up and send them back to the front lines. But the cool part about this show is that they were able to add some humor to it. They had a character named Klinger who would dress up like a girl because he wanted to get what was called a Section 8. So he wanted them to think he was crazy, and he would get a dishonorable discharge. But it was like there was a whole bunch of these really just funny things, and they had like they were always drinking. They were never like army like, but they were like, this is how we needed to be to get, or they're like, this is what we need to do to get through here. They had like a still, and so it's an awesome series. If you ever get the chance, I would strongly recommend it. Netflix pulled it off their freaking.
Is it on Hulu?
I don't think so.
Oh, you don't have Netflix. Hulu. It might be on Hulu. I'll have to check. Hulu. If next time I'm on Hulu, if I remember, I'll look into it and see if MASH is on there for you.
I watched the entire series from beginning to end.
So you gotta say it.
I've watched reruns for years. It was when I found it on Netflix. That's when I'm like, I'm binging, and I binged because there were 10 seasons.
Dang, so 10 seasons. How many episodes per season?
Like I want to say like 20-ish.
Oh, so that was healthy.
It was a big.
So let's see, what's 20 times 10? 10 times. Well, let's see. Wow, my math is Okay, 20 times 10 is.
It's actually kind of cool because it started off as a movie.
It's like 200 episodes, isn't it?
And only one of the original shows, or one of the only original cast members, that starred in the movie, starred in the actual.
Wait, they did a MASH movie?
Yep, that was before the series even came out.
Really?
But it starred almost a completely different cast except for one character. They actually had 11 seasons. I was wrong. There were 11 seasons of MASH according to IMDb. And there were about 16. So I was right, about like 16 to 20.
Okay, so it's probably around 200 episodes.
Probably. Yeah, I would say that would be a good.
All right. Yeah, that's still a lot. So, that's first of all, yeah, that's a lot to work on. I mean, first of all, to be on a show for 10 seasons, that's commitment.
And it was funny because nothing had ever been done like that before. They'd never done a show about any war or anything like that. And before, it was really funny because remember how I told you there was a character that was dressed as a woman to try to get what was called Section 8 to get out? Well, the actor, it was funny because before the show even aired, they were filming, and they were on this very small sound stage. And he remembered there was this one event where, everybody had gotten done for the day and wrapped up, and pretty much everybody had left. And he stayed behind. His name was Jamie Farr, was the actor's name. He played Corporal Klinger. And he had this dress on, and he couldn't get it unzipped because he was by himself. He was the last one there. So he ran around the studio in this dress trying to find someone to unzip the back of his dress. And he said he got some of the weirdest looks from people, but it was for a show that hadn't even came out yet. Nobody knew what it was or why he was dressed like that.
So just some strange man running around in a dress asking people, "Oh, that's funny."
But he was like, he found the first person and he got the weirdest look, but the guy unzipped the dress, and he went and got changed and went on with his life. But he said that was a story that he remembers to this day. This show also had Alan Alda, who he's played in a lot. Alan Alda's played in a lot. He played Benjamin Franklin Pierce. Let's see. Alan Alda's actually started directing a little bit near the end of the show. Alan Alda was also in. I'm trying to find. It's so weird the way they've got this website set up versus on my phone.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of times there's like a big change in format there. Either way, though, it's sad to see him go as well. I mean, I didn't, but first of all, to be on a show for a full 11 seasons, that's a lot. That's a big commitment.
Right.
And you said he was the same guy who was in the movie as well?
Who, Alan Alda?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, it was a different actor?
That one was. Let's see if I can find him here.
Either way, don't.
Gary Burkhoff.
Gary Burkhoff.
He played Radar O'Reilly, who was a corporal. And he was called Radar, was his nickname, because he could sense things were going to happen before they happen. Like,
that's interesting.
Like, he could, there was always this thing when choppers were coming, and that's how they would get the wounded. And he would know that the choppers were coming before anybody else could hear them.
Really?
Or he could, in the first half of the series, they had the colonel was Colonel Henry Blake. and he could pretty much he knew what Henry Blake was thinking 5 minutes before Henry knew what he was thinking. And it kind of got that way, and they had a cast changeover quite a bit, but they always kept it fresh. It was always new, but they were able to stay to the same concept that they had been.
Well, that's good.
And I finally found Alan Alda's page. The problem was I clicked on his character's name, not his name, which was weird. So Alan Alda's played in The Aviator, What a Woman Wants. He's played in Bridge of Spies. He's also played in The Blacklist recently.
All right.
There's one specifically that I'm looking for.
Okay. Well, either way, are you ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready to move on.
Okay.
Tower Heist. That was a movie he played in. He played a main role.
I heard that was really good.
Tower Heist. It's a great movie.
I'll have to check it out.
Anyway, so William Christopher played Father Mulcahy on the show MASH. Passed away at 84. I can't get it. Like he was such a he was a great actor, and all of them were great.
Yeah, all of these celebrities were amazing people, and you know it really is sad to say. You know, I think we just gotta say, you know, to all these people all these fine people that we lost in 2016, any of them that we missed, rest in peace and God bless.
And if you guys want some more information, like I said, I did post a video on our Topic Talks Facebook page. And I did that a little while ago, so it's already going to be there. But it has a lot more than just the people we listed. So there is also a link with a lot more than what the video lists in the description below. And with that, I'm going to give it shoot it over to Mark. And he's going to talk about this Elf Recruits as a
recut as a horror thriller spoof trailer.
It's a very, very weird trailer. We watched it right before the show.
All right. Well, anyway, so picture this. What would Jon Favreau's holiday classic Elf look like if there were a horror thriller from the 1990s? Cinefix answered that question on Christmas Eve by recutting the film to look especially sinister, turning the Navi of Buddy the Elf, Will Ferrell, into something much more dangerous. Co-starring James Caan, the recut Elf has a bit of a misery vibe to it because nothing says season's greetings like terror. Basically, this is a spoof trailer, that with clips from the Elf and positions them in a different light with ominous music added as well. I've watched this a few times and got a good laugh out of it each time, as it was excellently rehashed. We'll have the link for it posted on our page. I recommend you watch it. And
it's really creepy. And the cool part about it is being somebody who's knows how to edit, and it's fascinating because they take a funny, upbeat trailer for a movie and make it a very scary thriller. Was actually kind of cool.
Yeah. Then we got this other one. Yeah. It's basically a movie trailer that turns this year, or the previous year, 2016, into a horror movie. 2016 started out innocently enough, but after a number of tragic celebrity deaths, hence our list, and one of the most decisive elections in history, at least one collective is categorized the year as a horror movie. YouTube user Friend Dog Studios has created a condensed representation of the year through a trailer for 2016, the movie. The clip, which takes the calendar year and turns it into a scary thriller, begins on December 31st, 2015, with a happy couple ringing in 2016 with kisses and wishes for a prosperous new year, new home, and ever-growing relationship. But things go wrong fast. You want to know who died today? Ask a creepy voice, teasing the terrible events to come. The heroine questions if the hard times are due to their house, but she receives confirmation from a friend that it's like things you'd never expect are happening everywhere. As creepy as it is ridiculous, I consider this video a must-watch. We will also have the link posted to our page as well. They're both really great. I posted them both because they're both kind of like thriller spoofs, and they're just trailers. They're not going to be actual movies, obviously, but it's still really funny. So either that, with bringing that into the next topic, we have a list of movies that are set for 2017.
Some of these I'm looking really forward to, although I know I'm not going to watch them when I want to, which makes it depressing.
Yeah.
Anyway, go on.
So the first movie on this list, which I'd like to see, except that I haven't seen the first Kingsman, which I really want to. It looked amazing.
Why don't we watch it tonight?
I can't. I gotta go to my internship in the morning.
Okay, we'll watch it tomorrow then. Or not tomorrow, but next week.
We'll find some time. But The Kingsman, The Golden Circle, which is a sequel to The Kingsman, comes out this year. Granted, most of the movies on this list I don't have exact dates for, because there's a lot of them, and a lot of the stuff I looked into didn't exactly have set dates yet. But they
may not have set dates. Sometimes they'll just release them.
Some of them are
the trailer,
unknown.
But not the.
Mm-hmm. But The Kingsman, The Golden Circle is one of these movies. Another one is highly anticipated. It's Deadpool 2, which I am definitely going to have to see, and I think there's a lot of people that are with me on that one. I just hope I'm not as disappointed with the first one, because the first one, Aaron already knows my biggest complaints with this. I feel like there wasn't enough action, and my biggest upset at the movie was the fact that Deadpool didn't call Stan Lee out for being Stan Lee. I really hope that if Stan Lee is in the sequel, that he calls him out for it. I really hope so. I really, really hope so.
He probably won't.
Nope.
And you will be crushed forever.
I probably will be crushed forever. Another movie on this list is going to be Pitch Perfect 3. I know somebody who really loves Pitch Perfect. Was it you, Aaron?
I mean, I like Pitch Perfect, but I didn't.
Somebody
really
I know
like
really loves it, and I don't remember who.
April?
It might be April.
April really likes Pitch Perfect.
There's going to be this Jumanji one, which I'm still...
Jumanji is going to be really good.
It's going to have Dwayne The Rock Johnson in it.
The cool part about it is it's not going to be another, they're not replacing Robin Williams' character.
No, it's going to be like its own story.
Yeah, it's like its own story with the same game.
I'm just curious on if it's technically a sequel or what. I was thinking maybe some other people just find the game and then they play it.
But that would be a sequel.
So do you think that's what it's going to be?
Yes. Well, I don't think they're going to play it. What I think is going to happen, well, yes, they're going to play it. Everybody has to play it. That's just how the movie goes. But they're going to play it, but instead of everything coming out of the game, I think they're going to figure out what happens when you get sucked inside the game.
That would be really cool. That'd be a cool idea.
That's what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
It also has one of the Doctor's previous companions. It's the 11th Doctor's companion. It was Karen. I'm trying to remember what her name was. Give me a few minutes.
No worries.
I'll give you the Jumanji cast.
Okay. Well, you go and find that for a second. I'm going to go on to this next movie. Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales.
They need to stop with the Pirates of the Caribbean. They're getting old.
I actually saw a trailer for this one, and when I went to go see Star Wars the other night, and it actually looks pretty good. I, however, have not seen On Stranger Tides, so I'd have to see that one first. I love the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, but I stopped after the third one. But you know what? This Dead Men Tell No Tales actually looks pretty interesting. I mean, it's even got some funny moments in it from the trailer, at least. So, I mean, we'll see how that one goes. Another movie on this list, which I'm probably not going to see because I didn't see the first one, nor did I want to, is 50 Shades Darker, which is a sequel.
That's the sequel of 50 Shades of Grey.
To 50 Shades of Grey. So, you know, definitely more of a chick movie than a guy movie, I think. That's what I understand, at least. I mean, I know a lot more women read the books than I
do
men.
Pause for a moment. I have an official summary of what the new Jumanji movie is going to be.
Oh, here we go.
It says, in a brand new Jumanji adventure, the tables are turned as 4 teenagers are sucked into the Jumanji world, pitted against rhinos, black mambas. What?
Snakes.
Yes. An endless variety of jungle traps and puzzles. To survive, they have to play as the characters from the game. Meek Spencer becomes the brave explorer, Dwayne Johnson. Huckley Jock Fridge becomes a tiny genius, Kevin Hart. Oh, I didn't even know Kevin Hart was in this
Kevin
movie.
Hart's in it?
Apparently.
Oh, this is going to be great. You know, Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart, they've been doing movies together.
They do great. It's Girly Bethany becomes a bookworm professor, Jack Black.
Jack Black. Nice. I'm liking this setup.
And then an unathletic Martha becomes an Amazon warrior, Karen Galligan. She played in Doctor Who as the 11th companion.
Really?
Yes.
This movie's shaping up to look really good.
To beat the game and to return to the real world with their lives, they'll have to start seeing things in an entirely different way. So I was right. I called it. I said the only way that they could do a Jumanji rehash, well, not even a rehash, a sequel, is if they get sucked into the game, which was right. So I called it right here on Topic Talks. Just saying.
There we go. Yeah, definitely. I'm going to have to see this for sure then. So another movie on this list is going to be Justice League, which I am really, really looking forward to. Aaron, you're not allowed to see it until you see Batman vs. Superman, even if it's bad. I'm just kidding. No, but really, no, you do have to see Batman vs. Superman just to see it. Just to see it. But either way, I mean, you're going to want to see it.
I haven't even seen Man of Steel.
You don't really have to see Man of Steel.
Because I heard that was really bad, so I didn't watch it. And then Batman v Superman, I still wanted to see because it was filmed in Michigan, and I wanted to see if I could figure out what parts were filmed in Michigan. So, I'm still gonna watch that. But Justice League, I don't know if I'm as excited for Justice League as it.
It's honestly shaping up to look pretty good.
It doesn't have the people that I thought it would. Like, I thought that they needed to do one just like the animated series. Like, they need to have the Martian Manhunter.
Yeah, you know what? I am a little upset about that. I wish they would have gone with the original hero cast.
They need to have, they've got Batman.
I wish they would have gone with the original characters. I really wish they did. But either way, it's still shaping up to look decent.
I think. Do we know what Green Lantern they might be going with? Because they said that there's going to be a Green Lantern. They just don't know whether. Who it's going to be.
I hope they go with John.
Me too.
I really hope they do. Anyways, so moving on. This next movie on the list, I actually just saw a trailer for the other day, and I'm not going to lie, it's actually looking really, really good. It's going to be the Power Rangers movie.
Go Power Ranger.
It's every time I see the trailer, it's looking even better. They add a little bit every time, and it's shaping up to be a really cool looking movie. At first, I thought it was going to be... I don't remember what I thought it was going to be.
You thought it was going to be like the original Power Rangers.
No. The trailer I saw, I thought it was going to be something else when it started off, but it ended up being Power Rangers, and I was not upset. I was pleasantly surprised. So that looks really good. Nice.
You're welcome.
Another movie on this list is The War of the Planet of the Apes, which is
That's a sequel to Return of the Planet of the Apes.
I don't know how many of those there are now. I wasn't really into the apes.
I think
movies.
That's the third one. The first one was really good. I didn't get to see the second one.
There was like Dawn of them, Rise of them, War of them. I don't know. There's a lot of them.
War of them is the one that's coming out.
The one that's coming out.
They've also got Kong Skull Island. I'm done with the King Kong movies.
Dude, no, honestly, this one doesn't look bad. I saw a trailer for it when I went to go see Star Wars.
See, the problem is it like, okay, so the last one with Jack Black wasn't that bad. But I'm just done. Like, how many King Kong movies has... It's kind of like the Hulk of King Kong movies. King Kong is, like, comparable to the Hulk. They need to just stop doing Hulk movies.
Well...
They need to just stop doing King Kong movies because it's... They just need to stop.
They just need to stop?
They just need to stop.
I don't know. I'll see it and I'll let you know how it goes then. Next movie on this list is John Wick 2. I haven't seen the first one, so I'm not really sure what it's about, but I know it has Keanu Reeves in it. Do you know anything about John Wick?
I do not.
All right, well, then we'll move on. Next one's going to be Logan.
That looks really good.
Yeah, this is going to be the Wolverine movie of the year.
See, and I didn't even realize what it was. It was such, like, it was so much of a not, like, you didn't know what it was about. Like, I thought it was just going to be about another one about, like, a father defending his home. Like, we were watching this, my girlfriend and I watched this one movie. I think it was Home something. It was like Homefront or something like that, and he was wanted. He was in like witness protection, and people started coming after him. And this kind of seemed what it was like if people were coming after his daughter, and then the blades come out of his knuckles, and you're like, oh, that's Wolverine. But he doesn't have like the weird hairdo or anything. He just kind of looks like a normal person.
That's true. You don't even know it's a Wolverine movie until you see the claws.
Right. The claws come out, and I'm like, wait,
what?
That's Wolverine. When did he get a daughter? What's going on?
Pretty much. Another one on here is Maze Runner: The Death Cure. I saw the first Maze Runner and I liked it, but I never got
I kind of watched it. I watched it at the drive-in. I really didn't pay attention to it. I got there halfway through.
I never got around to watching Scorched Trials, which was a sequel, but I want to see it. They look like the first one was a good movie. The second one I didn't see, but I want to. I'm gonna try and see the second movie so I can see the third one. But at the same time, I'm a busy person, so we'll see. Next one on this list is Fast 8 or Fate.
It's Fate of the Furious.
Horrible
Once
name,
again,
amazing trailer.
They need to go to school and learn how to name and number things because this is just getting ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't it just be Fast 8? Why does it have to be the Fate of the Furious? Like it's not even part of the Fast. It was called the Fast series for a reason, not the Fate series.
Well, you know what?
Or the Furious series.
If it makes you feel better,
it doesn't.
On the list where I got these movies, Fast and Furious was not listed as Fate of the Furious. It was
that's the official name of it though. It's been listed as Fast 8 for a while because nobody knew what it was being called. It's on the trailer. It's officially named The Fate of the Furious, which is ridiculous.
I don't know. We'll see. Another one.
Although the trailer looks freaking fantastic.
It really does.
So I'm sucked in already, even though the naming is dumb as crap.
Yeah. Next movie on this list is Thor Ragnarok, which I am ecstatic to see. I really want to see this. I'm really hoping that they factor in some kind of Planet Hulk to this movie, but I also know that Doctor Strange is also going to cameo in this.
Don't ruin it. I still haven't seen Doctor Strange.
I'm not going to talk about Doctor Strange any more than letting you know that he's going to be in Thor Ragnarok. So you got to see Doctor Strange before you go see Thor Ragnarok. But it's okay because Thor Ragnarok doesn't come on until like November next year anyways. Another movie is Insidious Chapter 4. Don't know much about it, but Jenna wants to get into it. Another one is Beauty and the Beast. Aaron, I
really want to see Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
You have no idea how much I want to see Beauty and the Beast.
Mm-hmm.
It's a live-action version. I've actually got the Jungle Book. It's on Netflix right now.
Yeah, I saw that. I have to watch it.
I'm gonna go and I'm gonna watch it one day because I keep forgetting that it's there, and I just reminded myself.
I saw Guardians Volume 2 trailer, and it's even better on the big screen.
That looks great. Mm-hmm. Baby Groot is freaking fantastic. I can't wait until they come out with the actual. We were talking about it last week. They have an actual like life size because Baby Groot is only like a few inches tall. So they have a life size replica that they're releasing.
Oh my god, that's gonna be great.
And I have to own it.
There's also I was surprised to see this on the list. They're gonna do a Little Mermaid. I have a feeling it's something to do with Beauty and the Beast kind of thing. They're doing each princess story. World War Z 2. The first one was pretty good. I don't see how they're gonna make a sequel. Another one is Ghost in the Shell. Which is actually based off of an anime, which I heard they're going to do a Full Metal Alchemist live-action movie too. I hope they don't butcher it. Wonder Woman, I saw a trailer for. It's shaping up pretty good. It has Chris Pine, the guy who played Kirk in the new Star Wars. Transformers Last Night. Honestly, I'm getting kind of burnt out on Transformers.
Despicable Me 3.
Despicable Me 3 is going to be coming out.
I'm kind of getting burned down on the Despicable Me's. Like, yes, the Minions are adorable. Minions movie was great. I love all the Despicable Me movies.
Never saw any of them. Don't plan to.
You should.
I'll think
Minions
about it.
They're awesome.
They're making a sequel to Annabelle. I'm not sure why. I mean, they kind of finished off the first one as if it should have been finished. So we'll see. Spider-Man Homecoming, I'm really looking forward to. I think that's going to be one of the bigger movies in there besides Guardians.
Bad Boys 3.
Bad Boys 3, which is going to be coming out. I was surprised to see that on the list. They're going to be doing a new Mummy movie, which surprises me. And it's going to have Tom Cruise in it, I believe. So that's actually pretty kind of cool. I might have to look into that. There's Lego Batman, which is going to be coming out.
Lego Batman.
Which, honestly, I'm probably not going to see.
What?
Probably not going to see.
What?
Probably not going to see.
Why?
Just...
Have you watched the trailer?
I watched the trailer.
And you're not going to see it?
Probably not.
Why not?
Just...
You have no sense of humor if you are not going to see that movie.
If I do, it's going to be because I want to see a movie and there's nothing else to see.
Have you seen the Lego movie?
I did.
The Lego movie was fantastic.
It was good.
It was fantastic.
It was good.
I'm done with you.
I think Lego Batman will be good too, but I don't know. We also have Star Wars.
I'm just going to sit here and watch a movie.
Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
So we also have Alien Covenant, which is going to be a new Aliens movie. We have Star Wars 8, obviously, which is going to be coming out in the holiday season, which good news is, we already mentioned earlier, sad to say that Carrie Fisher is gone, but she did manage to finish the filming for Star Wars 8, so she will be in there. They're coming out with another Smurfs movie. I don't know why. They're coming out with another Godzilla movie again.
And another Cars movie.
I was gonna say Godzilla. Don't know why, but okay. They're gonna drag it out like 3 or 4 or something like that. Cars 3, they did a very, very tiny trailer for it when I went to see Star Wars, and it actually looks good. The second one was a crash and burn, but the second
one was pretty good. I like the second one. I think the third one's gonna be a crash and burn.
I don't know, but they're doing a Cars 3. It actually looks good. They're actually doing a Monster Trucks movie too. I'm not sure if it's gonna be the same universe.
Yes, it is. It's just like planes and cars.
It's just a scam.
And it's
a scam.
No, it's not a scam. It's just a way to make money.
They're making the
money
scheme
so that they can sell the toys. That's what they're doing.
They're also doing a new It movie, which I've been waiting for years.
Oh, well, so is everybody else with all these clowns popping up everywhere.
Yeah. And then last thing on this list, we have Amityville Awakening, which is honestly, I think I might go see this one. However, I don't know. I'm still skeptical about Annabelle 2. I kind of wish they would do something else instead of revisit the same horror story, because they kind of make it like a franchise.
Right.
And it's kind of what they're doing with these movies. And I don't know. I like what they're doing, but I don't think they need to be making sequels of each branch of it. So it basically that is what it is. So with that, I'm gonna pass this back over to Aaron.
Good, we're done with the dang Patan thing. I'm glad that phase is over. That's a cat toy, not a Patan. Put it away. No, with that air horn, you know that means it is time for the end of the show.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have probably noticed that Katie is not here.
We're not sure what's going on right now, but it's not looking like she's going to be back.
She's decided that she doesn't want to be a part of the show. So we wish her, you know,
good luck in her travels, wherever she's going.
And so, you know, as you guys probably heard, if you heard my little announcement, there's going to be some new things for 2017. We're going to have some guests.
Maybe some new regulars, we'll see.
To kind of fill that third spot that we're missing now. So
we're thinking about messing around with some new gadgets and toys to see what we can fit into the show as well, but we're not sure exactly what yet.
And my button collection is going to get bigger.
And the button collection will grow.
So there should be a whole bunch more noises and doohickeys. Like, I got this one. You ready for this? There's this one. I got the...
There we go.
Or just a one.
Yep. So, either way, with that...
Or a drum roll.
With that being badumst, I'm Mark Wilson.
I'm Aaron Klingsmith.
Signing off.